Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Pauline the Analyst and today we're about to dive into one of the most often misunderstood but incredibly powerful SQL right join. So if you've ever needed to include all the records from the right table but optionally include the matches from the left table, this is the join for you. So stick around because at the end of this video you will be able to use the SQL right join like a pro. So let's get started. So in this video, we are going to cover 1. How right join differs from left join and inner join. 2. Setting up our practice database with related tables. 3. Right join syntax with clear practical examples. 4. Real-world scenarios where right join shines. And finally, common mistakes and best practices. So let's dive in. In our next segment, I want us to understand what right join is. While left join keeps all records from the left table, right join guarantees all records from the right table appear with nulls where no matches exist in the left table. So this is perfect when you need to 1. Find courses without enrolled students. 2. Show all products, including those never ordered. And finally, identifying departments without employees. So in our next segment, I want us to set up our practice tables. So I want us to recreate our university database with students and courses to demonstrate right join. I'm saying recreating because I created a table in my previous video. So if you haven't watched it, please go back to it. I want us to let's write it down. Let's recreate our university database with students and courses to demonstrate right join. I want us to create the students table, okay? So let's write it down. Create students table. So that is create table. I like it in caps. That is the students table. That's the table name. Open your bracket. For those who have been moving with me, you can understand, but this is for the new people. So student ID is my first column. And since it's a number, the data type will be an integer represented by int, and this will be the primary key of the table. Next column, we will have the student name. And since this is a text, its data type will be in varchar. And I don't want it to have more than 100 characters. And I don't want any null values. Next, I want to create the major column. And since it's text, it should be varchar data type. And I don't want it to have more than 50 characters. And my final column is the enrollment year. And since it's a number, its data type will be an integer represented by int, and I don't want it to have any null values. And there we go. So we have finished our query. Let's close the bracket, finish our query, highlight it, and execute it. And voila, my students table has been created successfully. Next, I want us to create the courses table. So just as the previous one, we create a table. The table name is courses. Then open our bracket. So for my first column, that is the course ID. Then since it's a number, its data type will be an integer, and this will be the primary key of the table. So next column, we will have the student ID. And since it's a number, it will also have the data type as the integer that is represented by int. And then the next column will be the course name. Since it's text, it will be represented by the data type varchar, and I don't want it to have more than 100 characters, and I also don't want any null values, so not null. Next in line, we will have the credit hours, and since it's a number, it will be represented by an integer, and I don't want any null values, so it will be not null. And then I also want the grade as my column. And it will be a character like an A, a B, or a C, or a D. So its data type will be a character, okay? And I don't want it to have more than 2 characters in it. Then we will introduce our foreign key. Guys, don't forget to put your commas, otherwise it will give you an error. So next, I want to insert my foreign key because remember, guys, we have two tables and we're trying to join two tables, right? So as you can see, in the students table, we have the student ID, and in the courses table, we also have student ID. This is the relationship between these two tables, and these two columns are the ones which make these two tables. These two columns are the ones that enable me to join these two tables. Okay, guys? So introducing this foreign key, I will have the student ID as my column. Okay, just as I have explained. And then its references will be the students table that is represented by the student ID column. Close your bracket and then finish your query. And let's create our table and then execute it. Our command has been completed successfully. So as I was explaining, I want you to notice the relationship. The courses can exist without the students, making this perfect for right join examples, okay? So in my next segment, I want us to insert sample data into this table, okay? Because a table cannot be empty, okay? I don't want any null values here, so we have to insert data into this table. So what we are doing is inserting sample data. Moving on swiftly. So let's populate our tables with some realistic data, okay? So I want us to insert into the students table. So that's what we're doing now. Insert students. We'll be using the insert into, that is the students. And the values that we'll be inserting are, for the first is student ID, right? So open our bracket, student ID will be 1. And then student name, we will have Emily Chen. And then comma. Next is our major. Emily is taking computer science, guys. And then the enrollment year is 2022. Okay, close your bracket. On to the next row. We will have student ID, which is 2. Student name, which is David Wilson. And then next we will have the major. David is taking biology. We have to insert, if it's a text, you have to have apostrophes, so for you not to have an error. And then the enrollment year, that was 2021. The next we have the student ID, which is 3. And we have the student name, Sophia Rodriguez. And the major that Sophia is taking, we haven't been told. So let's write this as null. Okay, we haven't been told what Sophia is taking. And she was enrolled in 2023. And then finally, we have student ID, which is 4. And we are dealing with a Michael Brown. That's the student's name. And Michael Brown is doing physics. So, and then he was enrolled in 2022. So let's finish our query, highlight it. I hope you can see my screen. And then execute it. And as you can see from my screen, 4 rows have been affected. And then I want us to insert sample data into the courses table. So just like the above, we'll have insert into, that is the courses table, as you can see from my screen. And we are inserting values into this table. So we write that down as well. So first and foremost, we begin with the course ID. So for this, we'll have 101. Then next we have the student ID, which is 1. Then course name, database systems. And then we have credit hours is 3. And then finally, we have our grade over here, which is an A. Amazing. So close our bracket and then on to the next. We have the course ID, which is 102. The ID, student ID, which is 1. Then name, course name is algorithms. Then next we have credit hours, which is 4. And then grade is a B+. Close your bracket. Then on to the next. We have the course ID, which is 103. Student ID is 2. Course name is genetics. Credit hours, we have 4. And the grade here is an A-. Then close your bracket. And then on to the next row, we have a 104, which is our course ID. Then the student number is null. We don't know. Then the course name is calculus. Credit hours for this is 4 hours. And then finally, our grade, we don't know the grade, so this is null. So close your bracket. This is an assigned course, guys. An assigned course. On to the next course ID, we have 105, guys. 105. Student ID is 4. We have the course name, which is quantum mechanics. And then the credit hours is 3. And then the grade is an A. So close your bracket. And then finally, we have the course ID, which is 106. Then the student ID, which is null. We don't know this student ID. The course name is art history. Then the grade is a 3. And then since we don't know the grade, the credit hours is 3. And then the grade is null. So this is also an assigned course. It's another an assigned course. So finish your query. Let me move this so that you can see what I'm doing. Finish your query by highlighting this and then executing it. And voila, 6 rows have been affected. So in our next segment, I want us to understand the basic write join syntax. Okay? So this in short means it's formula. So it's syntax, it's like the formula. What you use in case you forget how to tackle something, we just use its formula and it will guide you the way you deserve. Okay, so its formula is select, then the columns that you are using. Then next onto that, you select from a particular table. And in this case, we're selecting from the left table. And then we introduce the star of the show, that is write join. Okay, and we are write joining the right table. And we are right joining it on the left table. Very, very simple. Very, very simple, guys. And it has its own key. That is the right table key as well. So this is its formula. So now let's find all courses and their enrolled students, if any exist. Write that down. Find all courses and their enrolled students, if any exist. Guys, these are comments. I have to put that so that I can tell SQL that this is not code. This is just a statement I'm writing. So let's write that down. That is select. C, it's key. C, that's the course name. Then C also represents the credit hours. Then S will represent the student name. Then S also will represent the major. Okay, guys? From the students table, here it is. Its key is an S, guys. Then we want to write join. Very simple. Just use the syntax I gave and you will follow through. Because as you can see, here we are selecting the columns. The columns I'm using here is course name, credit hours, student name, major. From the students table, which is represented by S. And we are right joining the courses table. Let me write it down. Right join the courses table. Here it is. That is represented by C. It's key C. On the S, which represents the student ID. This S is from the students table. So it represents the student ID, which is our foreign key. And also C from the courses table that has its relation from the student ID. Amazing. And then we just highlight our query over here and then execute it. So as I said before, our student ID was what created the relationship between these two tables and has enabled me to create now this table. Because as you remember, the course name, the credit hours, the student name, the major. Remember, these were from 2 different tables, but I've been able to join them because of the relationship, which was the student ID. I hope I've made myself clear. So I want you to notice how the calculus one and the art history appear even though they have no columns. So that is right join working. The student column show null where no match exists. Amazing. So on to our next segment, I want us to find records without matches. So a key use of right join is finding records in the right table with no matches in the left. So let's find courses with no enrolled students. On to the next, we want to find, let me move this down so that you can follow. I'm enjoying this. I hope you are too. So let's find Write that down. Let's find courses with no enrolled students. And in this segment, I was saying we're finding records without matches. That is what I mean in this case. So what we will do in this scenario, we will select, as usual, go down onto our C, that's our course name. C, course name, comma. Then we have C, which is also credit hours. This all comes from the students table that is represented by S. And we want to write join. Guys, I hope you are understanding. So write join the courses that is represented by C on the students table that is represented by S, the student ID. Remember, this is what created the relationship between the two. Equals to C student ID as well. Amazing, guys. And we have to include where, because we want to find where there are no enrolled students. So where S, that is represented by the student ID, is null. Very, very simple. So let's highlight it and then execute it. And voila. So this, let me move this down. This where clause over here, as you can see from my screen, let me highlight it that way. This where clause filters for only rows where the left table has nulls, meaning no match was found in the students table. Amazing. On to our next segment. I want us to see the comparison between the right join and the left join. So in that case, let's see how right join and left join produce different results with the same tables. So let me write that down so that you can follow along. So let's see how right join and left join produce different results with the same tables. We are on to a great start. So let me start with the left join, okay? Left join, and this is for all the students. So I want us to select, like we always do. Select S, which is the student name, then C from the course name. So S comes from the students table. C comes from the courses table. So let's write it down. That is the course name. From where are we getting this information from? From the students table that is represented by S. And then let's move this down so that we can see it clearly. Then we want to left join. Remember, we are just comparing the two. So left join the courses table like that. That is represented by C on the students table that is represented by S. That is the student ID. And then courses table, which is represented also by the student ID. Amazing. So let's highlight our query and then execute it, and voila. Have you seen? I have been able to join the two tables. We have the student name that comes from the students table, and we have the course name that comes from the courses table. Guys, I hope you can understand where I'm at. Okay, that is on the left join. So when you write join, let me go down. So write join. That is also all courses. We want to write join all courses. The previous one, we were left joining all students. Here we are right joining all courses. I hope I haven't shrubed, guys. So we select, and S represents our students table. That is the student name, comma, then C, that's the course name. Remember, we are joining two tables, guys. From the students table that is represented by S, and then let's move this down, guys. Amazing. So we want to right join the courses table that is represented by C on students table, that is S, student ID again, which is equals to the C from the courses table, that is the student ID. Amazing. Guys, I am really having fun doing all of this. I hope you are too. So let's execute it, and voila. Have you seen the difference? So this is the left join. Up here is the left join, and this is the right join. So the left join includes all the students, even Sophia, as you can see here, who has no courses. While right join, let's execute it. Right join includes all courses, even those without students. On to our next segment, we want to expound on real-world use cases. So here's where Right Join excels in real projects. In education, you can find courses with no enrolled students. In retail, you can show all products, including those never ordered. In HR, you can list all job positions, including unfilled ones. In healthcare, you can identify available treatments not assigned to patients. Very, very simple. That's the complete guide for the SQL Right Join. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more SQL content. So if you have any questions or you want a topic covered, write it in the comments down below. So until next time, happy coding!